Falling in love is ironic. The same heart that makes you want to fall in love with that special person is the same heart that wants to jump out of your chest when you first meet them. There's so much difficulty caused by our own anxiety. If we were magically able to just calm our minds down, we could finally get our cuddle date underneath the sheets watching Vanilla Sky. We live in a generation where showing interest is considered a weakness, to where simply sending a good morning text prompts you getting left undelivered for 16 hours. We all know that it didn't used to always be this way, but there's no point in looking back at the past. Love has always been a gamble,
I love you.
but these days people are more concerned with power and leverage, so much so that even a veteran gambler wouldn't take these odds.
I know, you can't believe it. Saturday night and little old me without a date. He's been dreaming of me. Could have been a contender if he'd only had the guts.
The possibility of rejection fills your body with angst and clouds your mind so much that you forget what you actually want in the first place. Your self-respect and wholesome intentions become overshadowed by your desperate need to be accepted by this person with a pretty face. Talking to a person that you like is simple, but it's not easy. There's very few feelings that feel worse than rejection, but there's also no greater feeling than being accepted for who you really are. Someone who's expressing low interest in you, there's nothing that you can do to convince them otherwise. And even if there were to, why would you want to invest that much time and energy on a person who you barely know? Oftentimes we get into an interaction with a fear of fumbling or being rejected that we forget to realize that we also have a say-so too. Just because a person has the prettiest face that you've seen in 6 months doesn't immediately give them a pass to just fuck your shit up. Red flags, principles, belief systems, these things matter. Attraction gets your foot in the door, but that shouldn't be the thing that reigns supreme over everything else. It's always smart to carry with you a mindset of abundance. Yeah, this person's very pretty, and they look really good, or they're very attractive. But do you really believe they're a one of one? There should never be a fear of fumbling. You're a human being, they're a human being. You can be your absolute self, and if they don't like it, then that is what it is. It's always a delicate dance when you're dealing with a person in front of you. You don't want to be too upfront to where you reveal your hand, but you also don't want to be too closed off to where they get bored and go on to the next person. But if you find a way to turn off your brain that normally fantasizes about having a nuclear family with this person who looks good, it becomes a lot easier to look at them for what they are. A human being who has opinions that you may differ with and have qualities that you find attractive as well. On top of being yourself, you should try to flip the script. Instead of looking at this person as someone you have to win over, look at them like, I want to figure out if you're a good person or not. When you ask them questions, you should be present. You shouldn't think about how you're going to respond, or you nodding your head yes because you don't want to look off into the distance. You want to be as present as possible, but don't fake it. Be genuinely interested in their answers. And I believe any good person has that faculty. You're going to ask the right questions and go deep enough to where this person's like, wow, I shared a decent amount. I must be comfortable with said person in front of me. That's one of the best ways to build connection that's not physical. Now, I'm not saying you have to pry open and look for their trauma immediately on the first date, but you shouldn't shy away from tough conversation. Most people our age just spend time talking about favorite colors. I personally hate small talk, and I used to think that was a bad thing when I would speak to somebody who's only able to small talk. They like to small talk, I don't. Okay, we probably won't work out. I'll just go over here. See how easy that is? Before, I would be like, oh, I need to learn how to small talk because this person they have curly hair. You know how many people on earth have curly hair? Now, that's not to demean this person who likes small talk. It's just not a preference of mine. You have preferences as well. We just push them to the wayside because this person in front of us looks good. It's okay to have preferences the same way the person in front of you has preferences as well. And I think these make for grounds of a good mutual connection with mutual amount of interest, which is what we should all be going for in the first place. It feels good to chase, it feels good to get chased, but that shit gets old. Understanding that you are two grown enough people to where you have responsibilities and aspirations for the future, you don't have time to waste on playing these games that we used to run on each other when we were using Kick App in middle school. Don't be afraid to be intentional, to know what you want. Don't be afraid to know yourself enough to lead with that. And as much as I can say don't be afraid of rejection, just don't value it more than the need to express yourself. Because one day, soon enough, hopefully, you come across somebody who likes you for exactly who you are, which will almost feel as good as getting some pussy.